Previously on Up at Noon.
Man, I do not like this new receptionist.
Why? He's great.
Brian, he doesn't know how to deliver messages. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Up at Noon. Yes, lost Dominic Monaghan isn't a good receptionist, but damn does he know how to hide heroin from his friends. It's an extremely dated TV joke if you are young. I'm sorry. Now, usually I tell you guys it's a good show, but this week it's spectacular. We have two interviews with two big-name actors. First, it's Eric Johnson, Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Whitney from Smallville. And then it's Dominic Monaghan himself, Cole in the Bureau XCOM Declassified, and one of them their hobbits in the Lord of the Rings. These are real Hollywood people. Don't tell them we're not a real show, please. But first, news you care about. Vin Diesel is in talks to star as Groot, the tree alien in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Just a friendly reminder that no matter how many years you work as a professional actor, if you look like a giant stupid tree alien, you're gonna get cast as a giant stupid tree alien. 2K Sports announced that the upcoming WWE 2K14 will feature a 30 years of WrestleMania mode. Here's your first look at the character select screen. Wrestlers do not live long. Rest in peace, Yokozuna. Come on. Rockstar revealed the first details on the hotly anticipated Grand Theft Auto Online. Give it up! Yeah! It's got a level editor and heist missions. And you can race with your friends in a giant fun world and great graphics and cool music. And sometimes, Brian, I don't want to read snarky jokes. Sometimes I just want to be excited for a game once in my damn life. I want to be excited for, is that okay? Is it okay to be happy? Is that allowed? I love Grand Theft Auto, and this thing looks like a goddamn dream come true, so I'm not going to read your mean little comments. I'm going to order a chicken wing, and I'm going to order a pizza, and like a gallon of beer, and be the happiest man in the world. No amount of misery or cancer or just Smallville going off the air is going to stop me. Harrison Ford, Mel Gibson, and Antonio Banderas have joined the cast of Expendables 3. Now, they join Sly Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, a skeleton, the cast of Grumpy Old Men, a 100-year-old sea turtle, an entire retirement home, the Grand Canyon, Jesus, and the old guy from Up. Lots of old things in that movie is the joke. For the first time in the series' history, the next Call of Duty game will allow gamers to play as women. One fan will... To celebrate this tremendous moment in video game gender equality, gamers murdered them. Thank you. I'm glad you like that. I'm glad you like that so much. That's the news. Speaking of news, Gregway, my first guest has traveled the world.
Nope. Whoa, hold on. You don't get to Gregway until the guest after my bit.
I know that's how it usually goes, Brian. I mean, we have two guests this week. It's too crowded for your bit.
What do you mean it's too crowded for my bit?
I mean, it's the two interviews. They're 10 minutes. It's going to be... Look, Brian, I mean, like, technically you're the lead writer on Up at Noon, so it's like the monologue is mostly yours anyway.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because most of the show still has your name all over it. It does, yeah. Yep. That's messed up.
Speaking of messed up, Gregway, my next guest can be seen messing up bad guys tomorrow in Splinter Cell Blacklist. Put your hands together for Smallville's Whitney, Eric Johnson. As I live and breathe, Eric Johnson.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having
I
me.
believe you're finally here. Oh my goodness.
Exciting.
Very exciting. You're here for the Splinter Cell Blacklist. Comes out tomorrow.
Yes.
You stepped into an iconic role here, Sam Fisher.
Yes.
How did that feel?
It's pretty amazing. It's a huge opportunity. I'd played the games. I'd worked with Michael Ironside when I was a kid. Just coming up.
What'd you do?
He did a couple of independent films in my hometown of Edmonton, and so of course, I mean, he's big Hollywood actor. I'm just a punk kid starting out, and he sort of took me under his wing and and really helped me along. It was huge. So when the game come out, and I'm a fan of his playing the game. Getting an opportunity to then step in and take over this role, it's a huge opportunity. It's a huge gift. I couldn't imagine a better scenario. So
I mean, what was his reaction like on the phone when you just knifed him in the back and said, "I'm taking your money ticket"?
I didn't have to give them the bad news. They don't make me do that personally.
Oh, okay, well, that's nice of them. It's nice that they help you out there. This is a big change, though, right? Ironside has been Sam Fisher for so long, but now, if I correct me if I'm wrong, you're doing the whole
thing.
Here.
It's exactly how they did Avatar. You know, it's the facial cameras in the motion capture suit, in the motion capture volume, doing as much of the physical stuff as possible with the apparatus on your face, which can get a little cumbersome having a camera right here. But just for the believability, I mean, that's where games have gone. If you look at Uncharted and things like that, I mean, there's the believability of the scenes and the cinematics. It just goes up a level.
How much of that had you done before?
None. It's first time doing voice or performance capture at all. So it was all a new world to me.
So how was that to walk on the mocap set in a leotard with a helmet that has a camera attached to the front of your face?
It's a glamorous feeling. I mean, you really feel like you've arrived when you put on that bally suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of balls.
a lot of balls. I heard that's the tagline.
It's a lot of balls. Splinter Cell, a lot of balls.
A lot of balls.
Yeah.
So I mean, was it weird? I mean, you're an actor. I'm sure you're acting at home all the time, walking around, pantomiming and stuff.
Yeah.
But to get there and have to play make-believe, right? Because you get this stick is a gun, now run around and do stuff.
We actually, no joke, we had a pool noodle once, doubling for an AK-47. Yeah. They're going to hate me for saying that. But it's a lot like doing really cheap community theater where you have nothing but your imagination. So I was surprised at how creatively fulfilling it was, but it's like doing the most expensive technological thing you've ever done before in community theater where you're using your imagination. It's a lot of fun. It's like being 5 years old again.
Do you like one more than the other? I mean, TV and films and stuff like that, or do you like doing this now?
It's very different. I love this, though. I mean, it's a whole other creative process. I didn't expect it to be rewarding creatively. I figured it'd be very technical, but the conversations with the creative team about the character and the scenes and all that was really, it was an open dialogue. It was very intuitive and very natural, and that was everything that we were going for. So it was actually very rewarding.
Here's the question then. Since this is your first experience, do you see, is this similar to how I always talk about, people get mad about Grand Theft Auto and there's going to be killing in it, and these lawmakers get all upset. It's because they're thinking of, Mario, their kids they watch play, right? Now, Mario gets to kill a prostitute.
Yeah, that's horrible.
But I always say, when all of those politicians die, and all the young people come into power, it won't be a problem anymore.
Right.
Is it similar, you think, are we going to see, you're one of these young and upcoming actors and doing all this stuff. You get what this is. You get what video games are. Do you see those lines blurring more and more?
Absolutely. I think that, for a lot of people, it's still an education. You have to educate them as to what it means, what it is, even in terms of, the people that work for me, in terms of, why I was so excited about it. And they're like, I don't get it. I don't play video games. I'm like, you have no idea. This is like, I just won the video game lottery getting this game. So it's a bit of an education, but again, like you said, as the old guard goes out, and gamers used to be teenagers, and now those teenagers are now in their 40s and even in their 50s. So it's a much broader cross section of the population.
All right, so now let's talk about something I'm excited about.
What do you want to talk about?
Smallville. You were with me on Smallville. Holy.
Yeah, go Crows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I like you so much. Oh my God, you're a nice...
You did not like me so much when you watch that. You do not lie to me because I'm sitting in your chair.
No, that was the funny thing is that Mitch Dyer, this Canadian guy, he went up to see Splinter Cell, and then he started talking to you in a conversation. He's like, "Oh, you should be on Up at Noon." I was like, "Oh yeah, totally." And then I checked your profile, and you totally own it. You're like, "Yeah, I was on Smallville, and you probably hated me."
Yeah, it's totally, yes, absolutely.
How much of that do you still get of people coming up, man? Like, you sucked.
Oh, I was on the streetcar in Toronto, and this guy goes to me, "Hated you, man." And I'm like, I have no idea who this is. And that's his opening line, and I'm like, oh man, did I bump you getting on the streetcar? And he's like, kind of sucks that you had to die though. I'm like, still don't know what you're talking about. Like, this has turned into a really creepy streetcar conversation.
Yeah.
And then slowly it came out that he was a fan of Smallville, but it was, So I still get it. It's good. It was a very vocal fan base for that show too. So.
Well, sure. And so now, when you were in the moment, You are Whitney. You're on the show. And everybody hates you. You're just this fucking pretty boy prick, and you're always in the way of Clark and Lon, and you shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Did you at the time like this is cool? I'm glad I'm getting a reaction, or was it just like, man, lay off me?
Well, I mean, it was fine when it became personal, it's like I get it. Yeah, hate Whitney, but it was like this was my first experience with going on to like online message boards.
No, don't do that.
Oh yeah, see?
Oh, no.
But I was a young man and I didn't know any better, and they were new then.
Oh yeah.
And it was shiny and new and internet-y.
Yeah. Oh,
and then it was like, I hope Eric Johnson dies. I'm like, that's really personal. I'm just doing a job. They hired me. I didn't do it. So like everything, unless it gets personal, I like it. Playing a bad guy's fun.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I was a big Smallville fan. You were good.
Thank you.
Really good.
I like the fact that I actually got to live out of football fantasy. For me, speaking of football fantasies, it was that was a huge thrill for me.
You weren't the star quarterback in high school?
No.
You were a nerdy drama kid?
No. I was the drama kid. I'm a weirdo. Yeah, I wasn't the quarterback, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that worked out for you.
Yeah, it worked out.
I'm a big Smallville fan. Like I said, true story, when they were like, hey, we're thinking about doing this Up at Noon show, I was like, that's really cool. I'll only do it if I get to have every member of Smallville on one day.
Really?
And so if I have over here,
Are you kidding me?
If we can bring this is you make hopes and dream boards. So we have the Small of Fame.
Wow.
And like, we're gonna go down and just check them off one by one. But you're the first person ever to show up.
Seriously?
We've been doing the show like 2 years almost.
And I'm the
You're
first?
the first Smallville guy, so you get to
There's a
sign it.
lot of better people that you could have got on your show.
No,
I'm just
that's true.
saying.
What, Tess
So
Mercer?
you want me to just
Pretty
check?
sure Pete's in jail still, isn't he? I don't even know.
I think so. Awesome. You want me to sign
Yeah,
that,
you
or
sign
just
it.
like a big check mark on my
No,
face?
you
Like,
sign
yes,
it.
I'm here.
No,
I'll sign
you
it.
sign it?
Awesome. I did an XO for you, by the way.
I like the XOs. Oh, go Crows, nice.
There you go, man.
And then I'm gonna X out your eyes.
Yeah, X out my
to
eyes.
show-
Yeah.
To show that you've been on, and then you were sad.
And I was sad.
Well, we'll do that for every other
Yeah.
person as they come on the show over the next decade.
Perfect.
Thank you, Brian.
Awesome.
Thank you for that.
Awesome. Small of Fame.
Eric, thank you so much.
Thanks, my pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Absolutely.
Splinter Cell Backlist in store tomorrow. I'm back at my desk? That's weird. Speaking of weird, Greg Way, my next guest was in that weird show Lost and is now in the live-action build-up to the Bureau XCOM Declassified. Give it the hell up for Dominic Monaghan. As I live and breathe, Dominic Monahan.
I did.
I'm good. How are you?
Very well.
Holy jeez, you're here now too.
It's true.
This is a good episode Up at Noon you tuned into.
Yeah.
You're here, of course, for the Bureau.
Yes.
XCOM Declassified. Explain to people at home what your role is in this one.
I play an agent called Ennis Cole, who we, if anyone's been watching the trailers that have been on the internet, kind of sacrifices himself for the greater good.
Spoilers.
Yeah, a little bit of a spoiler. in a larger story in which the Bureau, which is a shadowy kind of company, is kind of the leaders in defending the country against, I'm going to say, alien-like species.
Okay.
Which is a slight spoiler since they are aliens.
Oh, okay. I was seeing. For a second, I thought we were going some weird racism thing, but okay, that makes sense. No. So the trailers I've been watching, they're really good.
They are good.
People are like, "Oh, we're gonna do live-action trailers for a video game." You're like, "All right, great. Well, let's see." And then you show up.
Yeah,
and
no,
you're
they're-
knocking it out of the park.
Oh yeah, no, they're good. I mean, I think we've got to a point nowadays with video games where, there's so much investment, financial investment and emotional investment in them that, the trailers really do need to be good, and that's one of the reasons why I got involved.
Right. So now, is your role just in the trailers? Are you just Cole in the trailers? Are you in the game at all? How does this break down?
I don't think Ennis Cole turns up in the game.
This is all like a prequel to it.
Yeah, this is basically, whetting your appetite for the game. Some of the characters that do appear in the trailer with me show up in the game, but my character, you will find if you watch those trailers, doesn't eventually make it out.
Yeah, some bad things happen. Another spoiler! Yeah. You should still watch it. We keep saying trailer. It's like a short film.
Yeah.
And so was that how it was pitched to you? Like, because again, if they would have come to Greg Miller and like, we want you in the XCOM trailer, I'd be like, get the hell out of here. I'm big time.
Yeah. You are big time. They came to me and said, we've got this kind of conceptual idea. It sounded very slick. I saw some of the designs for the game. It seemed, you know, I was talking about this earlier on. The word "cool" is bandied around a lot in you know, modern day language. Everything's cool nowadays. You know, the table's cool, and my T-shirt is obviously cool, and you know, the ashtray's cool. But like, I actually think that this
Thanks,
game,
Roger.
I actually think that this game actually is really quite cool in the classic sense of the word. You know, it's slick, it's kind of secretive, it's hip, and I'm a gamer. I love games, and I wanted to get involved with something like that.
No, see, you Hollywood type show up.
Oh.
You say I like
I'm
games.
from Manchester,
I like
man.
all these games. Well, now you're all LA.
Oh, okay.
Look at your hair. You know.
Oh, what?
Yeah. What do you play?
What do I play? I regularly play FIFA and FIFA and Skyrim. I've clocked over 300 hours on Skyrim now.
It's a lot of Skyrim.
Pretty gnarly. I play like what I think a lot of people nowadays would call kind of classic type games. Like I go back to things like Parappa the Rapper.
Oh yeah.
I like Ratchet and Clank. I like Jax and Dexter. I like NBA Street. I like Mario Kart, which hopefully we're gonna maybe play later on.
Watch it on IGN.com.
You know, GoldenEye's really fun. I like going back a little bit. One of my favorite games. I mean, Uncharted. The whole Uncharted series is fantastic. I really liked a game called The Mark of Kree.
Oh, yeah.
A while ago, and then I played the sequel, which was called The Rise of Kasai, which was okay, but The Mark of Kree was an amazing experience. GTA, obviously, a little bit of Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, you know.
So how do you make movies? How do you do anything other than play games? You're talking about as much stuff as I play.
Yeah, I mean, I travel with my gaming systems. You know, I travel with the smaller gaming systems. The interesting thing about being on set, as you know, is hurry up and wait. You know, I mean, they call you in at sometimes 5, sometimes 6, 7 o'clock. But you might not be on set until 8:30, 9 o'clock. So you got a couple of hours there. And then when you're done, I don't really go out that much. I'm not really a big fan of going out, so I tend to decompress in my room, and that's gaming. That's Skyrim, really, for the last year and a half, you know.
I like everything you said. You know what's up. He's a good guy, everybody. He checks out. So what's next for you in terms of projects? You're already dead in this thing you want everybody to go watch, but now they know the ending.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to do a nature show, which I created last year called Wild Things, and we're going to go and do the second season middle of this month. So I'm going to go to Kenya and Zambia end of August, looking for the world's largest spitting cobra and the world's largest viper.
Why would you go looking for these things?
It's a good point. It's a good point. Well, the show is my attempt to change people's ideas about those type of animals. I mean, yes, they are scary. Yes, they can be dangerous, but they're also significant and important and beautiful. And just because something is scary and dangerous and could have the potential of killing you, it doesn't mean that we should, or that we are in any position where we can do. You know, so. I don't do that kind of monster-based thing. I talk about its capabilities, and then I show you that, you know, with respect and with the right amount of behavior, you can get close to these animals and interact with them.
How do you get close to the snake and not get bit? Do you have to act like a snake?
I'm surprisingly fast.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll race later.
Let's do it.
You also have a snake named after you now.
I have a spider named after
Spider
me.
after you.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a good trouser snake joke, but you ruined that one.
I'll say it. Yeah, I was in Laos making a show for Wild Things about the world's largest spider, and I was with a biologist, and he and I were outside of the cave, and we were collecting spider specimens, and he said, if any of these check out as a new species, you can name it, and that's a very slim chance. That's a needle in a haystack.
Sure.
And I said, oh, okay, great, that sounds fantastic. He went back to Dusseldorf in Germany, where he's from, and he emailed me a few months back and said one of those species was new, so I'm going to honor
our agreement.
Our agreement to name it. And I said, what about the Monahan spider? And he said, yeah, let's do it. So that's immortality in the biology world.
Yeah. You're making your mark everywhere.
Yeah.
Acting, video games, that. Speaking of Mark, can you go anywhere anymore? Do you just get stopped all the time now and say,
I
"Oh,
can
my
go.
dude from Lost, oh, dude from Lord
Yeah,
of
I
the
mean,
Rings."
of course I get that. I can go anywhere I want, and I do go anywhere I want. You choose how
kind
much
of attitude you want.
Yeah, you choose how much it affects you. You know, I mean, obviously I do all my own stuff, and I'm in all the places that anyone would be. I don't tend to go out to bars past kind of 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, because grown adults, male and female, when they've got a little bit of alcohol in them, will tend to get a little grabby and a little touchy. And then you're in that awful situation of being an idiot regardless of what you do. If you don't drink a shot with someone, you're an idiot. If you do drink a shot with someone, you're an idiot for the company that you're keeping. If you don't take a bunch of pictures with 15 people, all with separate cameras, you're an idiot to that group. Or if you leave your company that you're with, you're an idiot with that group. So I don't tend to go out in bars and clubs. I mean, clubs, I'm 36. I have no interest in going to clubs. But It's all positive, you know, it's all super positive. I say that to people all the time. You know, if you were a plumber or a carpenter and someone came over to you in the street and said, I saw that job you did on number 37, that was such a great dovetail joint you put in that room. You'd be like, oh, I'm stoked. That's such a nice thing to say. Everyone's super nice about it. It's a part of your life. I mean, you know, I became an actor because I like acting. The rest of it is kind of the residual effect, so I don't tend to dwell on it too much, but it's always nice and people are always friendly.
Were you expecting it? I mean, you went into acting because you liked acting, but did you expect that you were going to be on this TV show and it was going to go explode?
Oh, was I expecting it? Well, I don't know. I mean, the first job I ever did was a BBC One show, detective
BBC, never
show.
heard of it. Like, Asda is not a real word.
No, Asda is not real. You know what? I mean, Asda is a big supermarket in England, but I think it came from Scandinavia, Asda, originally. That's a guess, but I think so. But the first show that I ever did, the first professional gig I ever had was a English detective drama that ran for 4 years on BBC One, which is, you know, our version of ABC or CBS. Huge show. Everyone saw it. You know, 15 million viewers every week. So it was just part of my life immediately. And the first time you get recognized, you're like, oh, it's rad. And then, you know, like a year later, you're like, oh, that's still rad, but it's not something that I, you know, am attached to. So it's like a ghost. That whole thing, I talk about it all the time. The whole fame, celebrity, notoriety thing, it's a ghost. It doesn't really exist. If you go looking for it, it fades away. It's like trying to get to the end of a rainbow. It's not really there, you know. You just keep looking for it. It doesn't exist. So you can't grab onto something like that. You just got to let that stuff go.
That's deep.
I am deep.
I never doubted it for a second. You told, I thought, an enchanting little story about XCOM today. I know on the XCOM, you did this XCOM interview for the press to watch and kind of ask some questions. Talk a little bit about, you showed it to your family, right? Your father, you showed XCOM things. Talk about that.
Yeah. I went back to see my mum and dad a month ago, and I sat down next to my dad. My mum was out shopping, and I said, hey, Dad, check out this trailer I want to show you. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. And we sat down and watched the trailer, and it's me in a pair of spectacles and a suit running around with a gun, you know, looking to try and track down the aliens. It's about a minute and a half long, and it ended. And I turned to my dad and said, what do you think? He went, yeah, it's good. Why'd you show me that? And I said, that was me. And he went, what was you? And I went, the guy with the glasses was me. So I had to show him again. And you know, the glasses were really kind of thick, you know, 1950s type, you know, glasses, and it doesn't really look like me, but also I think my dad might be potentially going blind, so that's also a tragic story.
Well,
tragic.
The story started off really sweet, and then it got real dark there. All right. Well, The Bureau comes out tomorrow. Your show comes back soon.
Yeah, start of next year. It'll be on like March or April of 2014. All
right, cool. I'll give it a shout when it happens so people know again.
Love it.
Dominic, thanks so much.
It's good to see you.
That's our show, everybody. A huge thank you to Brian Altano, Eric Johnson, Dominic Monahan, and you, my audience, even you guys over here in the cheap seat. If you want to be in that audience, go.ign.com/up at noon for details. As always, Brian and I will be responding to comments the first hour this video is live, so come on by and tell us why you hated Eric on Smallville. My reason? He never treated Lana Lang like a lady. We'll be back Monday with Guild Wars 2 on its first birthday. But until then, I'm going back to bed. DaveFenoy.com.